This is Folk and Acoustic Music. My name is Michael Stock in the studio now with Buddy Sparrow and Steve Takimoto, and welcome to WLRN, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Awesome to be here.
Now, Buddy, you contacted me, I guess, a few months back because you were involved in a new project, but you've been playing music for a long time.
Oh, I've been playing since I was 13 in my parents' restaurant and bar up in Vermont, and then had a career in New Jersey, and moved down here 15 years ago, hooked up with this guy here, and boy, we've just had so much fun playing and performing together.
Did you move down here to play music?
I didn't move down here to play music. Moved down here because my wife at the time wanted to move to Florida, and I started coming here, and I fell in love with the place.
Wait,
honestly.
Vermont and Florida. You had your choice?
Yes, I grew up on skis, and now I'm working with surfing organizations. It's just how it is.
So surfing organizations, and you're still involved in music, obviously.
Very much so. We play every Friday at Papa's Raw Bar, and we play other places too. I perform with Surfers For Autism at some of their events, and wherever we happen to end up.
What kind of music do you play every week at the Papa's Raw Bar?
Papa's Raw Bar. It's in Lighthouse Point. It's an awesome place. Food's awesome there. It's just north of Sample on Federal. And the kind of music we play is acoustic rock. We play our original stuff, but we also play some cover music, but we put our own twist on it, because we're original musicians. And when you're playing out, people do want to hear things that they're a little more familiar with, as well as the material that you're promoting. But we sell the albums off the stage and, have a great time there every week.
Steve, how did you first meet Buddy?
Bud and I met. I was putting a band together, and some friends suggested that they knew someone who was a very good lead singer who just moved down here.
Up in Delray, you were doing this?
This was in Boca at the time, actually,
okay.
And he introduced us, and we hit off right away. It worked, and we ended up playing in a cover band for a couple of years together.
So you've been playing together for a few years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you contacted me because of this Freedom Surfer song?
Well, Freedom Ride is a song that I wrote for Surfers For Autism. Mm-hmm. They're an amazing organization. I can't tell you enough good things about them. These guys take kids, they put them on surfboards. They just happen to be autistic kids, but they put them on these surfboards, and some of their symptoms start to melt away. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life, and I wanted to get involved with them. I had met the co-founders, Don and Kim Ryan, on the beach. A year ago, we were playing at Rattlesnake Jake's down on the beach on Deerfield Cay. And they had a whole festival that weekend, and I went online and researched it and saw what they were saying these people were doing. So I had to go down and meet these guys, and I was so electrified to meet some of the participants and the surfers and the co-founders. I went home and I wrote this song. It just came over me. Like, it was 20 minutes. The whole song was written. The words, the music, the chords. When I was done, the arrangement was even there in 20 minutes, and I was so amazed. I said, this has to go on the Deerfield Cay album. And so that's how that whole thing started. So I sent it to them. Then we made a video for it with Charles Dasher footage, which Charles Dasher is their head videographer for Surfers For Autism, and his stuff is so amazing. So I put it together and put it on YouTube, and we got thousands of hits right away. And people were messaging me that they saw the video and were crying. So I said, well, that's good. I didn't do it to make people cry, but,
I saw it twice, and both times I'm in tears watching this video.
I still get a little choked up when I see that darn video. And so I said, this has to go on the album. And so I spoke to the co-founders with Surfers For Autism and asked them if I could donate the whole album to them. We don't really do music for money anyway. We do it for the love of what we're doing, especially original acoustic rock. We can say and do anything we want with this form of music, and so I did. And I gave them the album, and they're selling it up and down the Florida coast. It's on their website, and we sell it off the stage. The first day the video was out, we had a $1,000 donation come in immediately. One single person donated $1,000 immediately, and other donations, of course, have come in.
And the video is it's on YouTube now. How can you find it?
Absolutely. Well, the best way is to go to the website deerfieldcay.com. That's deerfieldcay.com. It's got all of the links to get the album from Surfers For Autism. It's got the video link. It's got a link to download the music, to listen to the music. So that's your one-stop shopping, really.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're here with Steve, and let's hear the song, and I'll talk more about what's happening with the video. Okay?
Sure.
And so the name of the song is Deerfield Cay.
Freedom Ride.
Freedom Ride.
Freedom Ride.
Okay.
The will of Mother Ocean reaches deep inside of me. She takes me by the heart with universal clarity. My legs becoming fluid and my arms are open wide, liberated by the greatest ocean freedom ride. Here upon my island I see worlds go sailing by. An ocean full of life is swimming, birds are flying high. Freedom's all around me, but nobody's found me here. But I can hear my angel's voice calling me so clear. One day I'll make it out and ride the biggest wave, straight into my angel's arms with others just as brave. Send me out a signal so that I can find my way back home. You'll see me in the distance, just a glimpse one summer day, a dot on the horizon that may rise and fall away. But I know you'll be waiting when I finally find my way back home. I'm still inside here, I have thoughts and I have dreams. But this world is scary when you're sensitive like me. But I know you're my angel and I know you'll always be. And I know if you can, you'll find a way to set me free. One day I'll make it out and ride the biggest wave, straight into my angel's arms with others just as brave. Send me out a signal so that I can find my way back home. You'll see me in the distance, just a glimpse one summer day, a dot on the horizon that may rise and fall away. But I know you'll be waiting when I finally find my way back home. The will of Mother Ocean, reaches deep inside of me. She takes me by the heart with universal clarity. Will of Mother Ocean, freedom ride, freedom ride.
Live in the WLRN studio, Buddy Sparrow with Steve Takimoto playing guitar and doing backup vocals. That's great. And you wrote that song inspired by the kids, watching the kids surf.
Yes, I was incredibly inspired by this and decided I had to do something a little more. So I went and did the video, and that was great, and then we dedicated the album.
Is this, do you know if surfing is a common practice in the autism world? Do they know?
Oh, there are other organizations doing that. In fact, we're using animals to help bring these kids out and help them have breakthroughs. There's a Freedom Ride is actually the name of one of the horse camps where they do this kind of thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sure, they're using tennis. Each one of these kids seems to have a different level and a different ability to find breakthroughs, and they have to do it. The kids have to do it. All we can do is put them in a situation where it's possible for them and encourage it. Now, some of these kids, let me just paint a picture for you really quick. Imagine you have a child that has autism, and you haven't heard them speak for years, a couple years. You haven't heard their voice. You bring them to a Surfers for Autism event. They go in the water, they come out of the water, and they yell at you. A couple, abbreviated sentences, of course. They yell at you and that they want to go back in the water. Can you imagine as a parent what that would feel like? If you can imagine that, then you can understand the level of importance that this has. Yeah. These are brilliant kids. Sometimes there's a stigma attached with certain disabilities or, with autism, which a lot of people don't see as a disability. I don't. I see these kids, some of them are geniuses. There's a whole perfect kid inside of that, shell. And sometimes they find their way out.
It's exciting because you watch these kids surf and they look like normal kids.
Well, they certainly do. I go to the parking lot. I help out at these events. And you see these kids get out of their car with their parents dragging them out to the beach, and then you see them in the water, and the symptoms seem to melt away. It's not a cure. No one's saying this is a cure, but what this is it's a fantastic therapy, and through this therapy, sometimes there are breakthroughs. And so what we're doing is encouraging the breakthroughs. The other thing that
a breakthrough is like so they would talk for the first time. Is that like a breakthrough?
Yes, making eye contact, being more communicative. That's what we're looking for is these little breakthroughs.
Okay. That's great, and you're continuing with these organizations too.
Oh, absolutely. Surfers for Autism specifically, because that's my...
You surf then, right?
No. I do not surf. In fact, I'm not qualified to be out there helping these kids in the water yet. But you do have to be qualified. This organization is so well run. Don and Kim Ryan do such a good job. Everybody has a job to do, and they all do it very well, and they are professionals.
Well, Buddy, I would not have heard about this organization if you hadn't written that song, and the video is just, like I say, really wonderful. That was Freedom Ride is the video, and Buddy Sparrow. What's the name of your band?
I call it Nobuddy Famous. This particular album was done under Nobuddy Famous because I have so many friends show up and perform with me.
This is every Friday at Papa's?
Well, every Friday at Papa's, but even when I play at Rattlesnake Jake's down at the beach or wherever we play, I invite different friends, and I have so many good musician friends that show up and will just drop in, and somebody will pull out a violin, or somebody will pull out some bongos, and or a flute. It's different every time.
Well, but before we get into that, I just want to ask you one more question, because this music is in your blood. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Do you have any, let's say, brush with stardom?
I wouldn't say that. No, in the '80s, we did quite a bit with the band. My band in New Jersey, Direct Touch.
Albums.
Never got a record contract. And you know what? It's not for not trying, because I remember dumpster diving back at my local radio station to see what albums they threw out and what they looked like. And that back then it was 12-inch singles, and they had the same song on both sides. And so I started making 12-inch singles with the same song on both sides, and sent them to every radio station that I could find in the United States that would play anything close to my kind of music. Never got signed. We did, we played a lot of places. We played the Cat Club in New York, and we played all the places up and down the Jersey Shore.
You didn't get discouraged?
Of course I got discouraged. I got discouraged, and then you get back up the next day, and you're angry, and you go back and you say, no, I'm not going to give up. What did knock me out of the music business was cancer. And, some bad things. I had a bad decade. After playing with Steve for a couple of years, I was on stage one day, and I came off stage, and I felt my throat, and there was a lump, and sure enough, it was cancer. And by the end of a year or two of treatments, of radiation and stuff like that, they told me that they weren't going to cure it. But by the end of that year, I found out I had cancer. By the end of the next year, I found out the treatments weren't working. By the end of the next year, I found out, for personal reasons, that I was getting a divorce. And then came the foreclosure, and then came a bankruptcy. It was like a big snowball of things that happened in that decade. So I wasn't in music for about 10 years. Doesn't mean I didn't write, because if I didn't write songs, I would have never survived it. So I wrote music, and music saved me, but I wasn't performing regularly because I didn't know if I would be in the hospital or even alive. But as it turned out, everything turned out fine. During that period, though, I did some wonderful things. For one thing, I raised a beautiful daughter. I spent so much time, so much fun. We had parties at my house, and barbecues, and so many nice things that happen. I wrote a cookbook called The Single Dad's Cookbook. You can find that at thesingledadscookbook.com.
Good for you.
It's all these little recipes, like a carrot dragster that you make with peanut butter and a carrot and a raisin for the driver. My daughter's kids used to come over and they said, "Buddy, will you make me a carrot dragster?" And I would say, "Sure, kid." And the parents would pick them up later and they'd say, "Did they eat anything?" And I'd say, "Yeah, they had 3 carrots." And they'd say, "You're kidding me. This kid never eats vegetables." But it's a great resource for parents that want to feed their kids good food and have them eat it. It's all presentation stuff. Not only that, but I got a little award for that thing. I was voted Single Super Dad in 2010, because they liked the story, the story behind it, because there's a bio about having to go through cancer and how I developed the cookbook and stuff. So I was cooking well for me, anti-cancer foods, so I was also cooking anti-cancer foods for my daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably good food for all the time. Sure.
It's vegan. Almost the whole book is vegan foods that you don't really cook. They take 30 seconds to make.
Buddy, it's very impressive. I appreciate the work you do. I'm glad you're healthy now.
I have a clean bill of health.
Good. And you're playing every Friday night at Papa's Raw Bar.
Papa's Raw Bar, best ceviche you will find in South Florida. Oh my God, my eyes go back in my head when I have this ceviche. I get it every week.
Where is Papa's?
It's on Federal, just north of Sample Road, and across from Glacier Park Ice Skating Rink.
And your website for people interested in Deerfield Cay.
Deerfield, spelled out DeerfieldCay, DeerfieldCay.com.
And let's have one more tune.
Sure.
What would you like to finish up with?
Sure.
Steve, I'm sorry I didn't even get a chance to talk to you at all.
It's okay. I'm here to play.
This is called If You Were My Girl. If you were my girl, I'd make you smile and forget about the world for a little while. If you were my girl, I'd nibble your lip, I'd pinch your toes, I'd tickle your hip, and you'd find yourself on the edge of the sea with a glass of wine, just you and me, on a pink towel over white sand with a nice sky and a nice tan. If you were my girl, if you were my girl, if you were my girl, I'd kiss your lips, I'd make you wonder just what I'd kiss next. If you were my girl, I'd write you a song to tell the world you're right where you belong. And you'd fall asleep deep inside my arms under blankets that are made of stars. And we'd stay there till the next day, and we'd wake up the same way. If you were my girl, yeah, if you were my girl, if you were my girl, everything would change. My whole world would start to rearrange. Take the time to stay with me, I'll show you how sweet this love could be. If you were my girl, yeah, if you were my girl. This place is closing, let's get on out. I know a spot that no one knows about. The moon is shining, the waves are rolling. This place is mine and let's keep it going. If you were my girl, yeah, if you were my girl, yeah, if you were my girl,
Live in the WLRN studio, Buddy Sparrow with Steve Takimoto on guitar. Deerfield Cay for more information, and it's the not famous?
Nobody Famous.
Nobody Famous.
We go by Nobody Famous. Buddy Sparrow, Nobody Famous is, that's what we go by right now.
Okay. Well, best of luck, and I'm looking forward to hearing what more music from you from the future, okay?
Fantastic.
Thank you, buddy.
So fun to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Steve.